Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon. Um, we are looking at some of the questions you guys had on page 371. We're going to look at question 25 here. So 25 looks like this. It's the cube root of negative 250 x to the 6th, y to the 5th. Again, first thing I like to do is just kind of break this thing up into numbers and then each of the different variables. So I'm going to break this up into the cube root of negative 250 times the cube root of x to the 6th times the cube root of y to the 5th. And now I can deal with each of these separately. Cube root of negative 250 is irrational. But we want to see if we can find a factor of negative 250 that is a perfect cube. And again, I would suggest having that list of perfect cubes handy. I'm going to make that list right now, starting with 2 cubed. 2 cubed is 8, and 8 doesn't go into 250. 4 cubed is 64. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And 64 is not a factor of 250. If I look at 5 cubed, 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. All right, so I think there's the factor I want to use. So I'm going to, and I've got this negative here. And if I do negative 5 cubed, I get negative 125. So I think that's what I'm going to use. So the negative cube root of negative 250, I'm going to break up into let me go back to my black marker here, a little easier to see. The cube root of negative 125 times the cube root of 2. All right, and now the cube root of negative 125 we just saw was negative 5, and then the cube root of 2 is irrational and can't be simplified anymore because there aren't any, obviously, factors of 2 that are perfect cubes besides 1, but that's boring. So now, as we've got that done, the cube root of x to the 6th. We talked about this a little bit before. This is a perfect cube because I can do 6 divided by 3. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So that is x squared. And if you think about it, x squared to the 3rd power, x squared times x squared times x squared would be x to the 6th. All right. So when you're dealing with exponents, just see if you can divide these things. Here, I can't, all right? 5 divided by 3, it does not come out even, but what's the biggest number smaller than 5 that would be divisible by 3? That would be y cubed. So I can break that down into y cubed times y squared. And now the cube root of y cubed is just y. And again, since that's odd, I don't need those absolute value symbols. That's only if that index is even. And then I've also got the cube root of y squared left over here. All right. And so now I can kind of rearrange some things. So I've got negative 5, because again, it's all multiplication. So it's negative 5 times x squared times y times the cube root of 2y squared. All right, so breaking that down, looking for those factors of each of those that are perfect cubes, especially for the numbers. And again, when you're dealing with exponents, you want to find what's the biggest number less than or equal to that exponent that is divisible by 3, because the easiest way to do these is just to do that division by that power inside divided by the index. All right, so this is number 25 on page 371. I hope that helps. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Take care.